everybody in high school be like, yo, you acting like you acting like, dawg, you gay?
Fellas, lights up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking nigga dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone right there. Let's be real about this shit. Yeah, keep it fucking real.
You ever notice how homophobic niggas is all the time? And it's like, dude, if you ain't gay, then gay things shouldn't bother you.
All right, today's a hot topic. If you hate people for no reason, or you're a professional victim, this one's not for you. If you're somewhere in the middle, then welcome. You're my target audience. Is hip-hop past homophobia? For a straight guy asking this question, it's almost kind of like a white guy being like, is country music past racism? I can answer the question from what I know, but take it with a grain of salt. So whether you're agreeing with the concept or you're a little skeptic, the landscape has definitely changed. With stars like Lil Uzi, Young Thug, Saucy Santana, Lil Nas X, Skaiwater, we've moved from an overly no homo pause era to one where men can openly wear dresses, purses, paint their nails, and still be considered hard rappers and not have anybody bat too much of an eye. Of course, there's always gonna be some people saying some no words, but for the most part, the general hip-hop audience will always accept a Young Thug, Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi, as long as the music stays good. How did we get here? Let's take it back about 10 years. Let's start with flamboyance in hip-hop. I'm talking, shiny things, skirts, painted nails, and the integration of high fashion into pop culture, and by extension, into hip-hop. Honestly, maybe a little bit more than 10 years. The early 2010s, at least to me, was a revolutionary period in terms of what it means to be a rapper and what that can look like. I can only speak from my experience, but the early 2010s when A$AP Rocky and the rest of the mob were coming up, and he was getting those, metrosexual claims, but he was still a super hard rapper. He was super New York. He was still representative of everything that a lyrical rapper was at the time. Hard rapper, not necessarily gangsta, but very masculine in the way that the music comes out and the way that they carry themselves. It started to create a shift in like, okay, I can care about, I can care about my face routine, the way that I dress, more than just putting on the most expensive, largest, shiniest things, but like putting together real fits. Now, before you get in the comments talking about whatever obscure rapper was doing it before A$AP Rocky, I'm here to say, yes, you're probably right. What I'm talking about is the start of a shift where it became more and more accepted. It starts snowballing. Young men are now overly conscious of, their skincare, hair care, manicures. That's not to say that hip-hop was overtly, homophobic at the time, but it definitely wasn't homo-friendly. I'll give you that one.
I used to deal with that when I was in high school. And what happened is it made me kind of like homophobic, because it's like I would like go back and like question myself, like, damn, why does everybody else walk like this and I walk like this? So why is then you start just looking, because you don't realize until you're in high school, people like, yo, fam.
I think the radio is getting more gay friendly. I don't think urban music or anything is getting more gay friendly. If that was the case, Frank Ocean would be on a lot more songs. Like niggas, I know niggas that will not do a song with Frank Ocean just because he's gay, but they need him on the fucking song.
This was kind of a time where being gay, at least overtly, was akin to career suicide. And that's funny enough because at that same time, Diddy was in them back alleys just doing what he do with that Johnson & Johnson. In any case, I think it stemmed from two things. The overt aggression, masculinity and testosterone it takes to run in them rap circles at the time, and the Christian nature of hip-hop and black culture in general. I've talked about this before, how weird it is that a culture like hip-hop that can celebrate things so sexual, so violent, so antisocial, can also on the flip side be so devoted to Christianity in values. We definitely pick and choose what we want to uphold and what we want to, turn a blind eye to. But that's just life, I guess. Because in real life, there's double standards everywhere. So, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, we pick and choose when it comes to gender roles, crimes, even what sins that we want to accept. So I guess in the music, it shouldn't be any exception. And associated with that is the second point, the level of masculinity it takes to run in them hip-hop circles. And we take it further than just the regular everyday masculinity. Our rappers used to have this sense of macho that went above and beyond. They're always the toughest guy in the room, the most gangster in the room. Nobody can touch me. I wear all my jewelry outside to the gas station. I rob everybody. And so if you're not that tough, if you're the guy that paints your nails, if you're wearing dresses, If you like men, you're looked at as less than because you're not representative of what macho looks like to the rest of the world. But there's been a shift. What got us to where we are now?
Wait, what the hell are you wearing? Is that a bra?
What? It's just a wife beater.
Wear your pants. Why are you wearing a skirt?
Whether for the sake of fashion, for the sake of marketing, for the sake of standing out, or that's exactly what they just wanted to do at that moment. Rappers with influence over the youth in the early 2010s were seen with purses, wearing dresses, painting their nails, dyeing their hair, changing what it means to be hip-hop and going for an aesthetic that's more like a rock star.
You see me, bro? I am a rock star, bro. I'm not rapping on that type stuff.
We'll decide.
Let me hear it, and I'm letting you know. Your fans gonna be disappointed. All the old guys,
They don't give a
they're
fuck.
gonna be, yeah.
As we delve more and more into the idea of rock star, more and more into the idea of pop culture pushing hip-hop and not hip-hop pushing pop culture, we start to understand that the ideals are being changed ever so slightly. Whether that's for a positive or negative, I'll leave that to you. But there is a new freedom to be exactly what you want to be. A lot less constraints in terms of how you have to think, act, and move in order to be a rapper, and how you want to make music and things like that. Society has shifted. The audience is newer. The world is more interconnected, and there's more reason now than ever to want to feel different than everybody else. And so we label ourselves with a whole bunch of adjectives. We do a whole bunch of attention-seeking things in order to feel and be different. And if everybody's super strong, manly, tough guy, there's got to be representation for people on the opposite side. And now we enter the age of acceptance. You would think that Saucy Santana or Lil Nas X would be the perfect example of acceptance in hip-hop. But there's always a little bit of pushback. And I'm thinking it's because the music don't really crank to a wide audience. It's really just for the girls and gays to be in the club shaking ass. And even further, for Lil Nas, he be using, disrespecting religion as a marketing strategy, which doesn't really go over well with a lot of people. Who I think is actually the perfect representation of acceptance in hip-hop is maybe not as known to you guys unless you're kind of deep in the underground. Skaiwater. Nobody cares what Skaiwater does. Nobody cares what Skaiwater's identity is. The music just makes sense, and so we're all behind it. The meme itself is that no, we don't care as long as you keep dropping good music, which is great. Honestly, that's probably the most equity and equality that we could probably get in this music stuff. Regardless of who you are as a person, as long as your talent makes sense to other people, we're all the same. Now, this is not to say that the job is done, pat ourselves on the back, we're all good here. But it is to say, we've come a little bit away. I ain't gonna lie. We're definitely moving in a more tolerant direction. But the only thing that may be a little questionable is the methods we're using to get there. Because at times, it comes from just having an open-hearted community. And at other times, it's from having the iron fist of the powers that be.
Cause my gay fans, they ain't got niggas, they ain't going for that. They got class, nigga. They ain't sucking no dick in no parking lot, nigga. You gotta get a room, nigga, a good one, 5-star hotel for them. Or goddamn, yeah, you gotta wait till they go to the crib, nigga. They ain't just gonna be out here just doing no anything, yeah.
Several years ago, that comment would not have done a single thing to his career. But the entertainment industry is ran by what Fat Joe likes to call a gay mafia.
I happen to think there's a gay mafia in hip-hop.
Which, for better or for worse, sways conversations, policy, and, and marketing in a more politically correct and sensitive direction. And so I don't know if you've ever seen it, but when rappers have to talk about anything outside of their lifestyle, they tend to get a little shaky. It's so strange watching, grown men scared of their livelihood being taken away by saying the wrong thing. That's one thing I can probably be like, all right, we have to calm that one down. Start shaking in their boots. Now, that doesn't mean we're not gonna get an endless parade of, pause, no homo, AEO in people prominent in hip-hop and in hip-hop culture. There's just less money to be made if you're more authentic in that manner.
Yeah, we loaded up. No homo.
People that don't understand nuance or platonic male relationships, they tend to over-exaggerate the amount of malice that comes behind a pause or a no homo or a no diddy, AEO, any of the like. Most of the time, it's just comedic effect, and the rest of the time, we just don't want to sound like we're fucking our friends.
This nigga braids like.
It's very simple. It's not too crazy. In any case, we can see that hip-hop isn't completely there, but there's been steps in the right direction. We've moved from aggressive homophobia to tentative acceptance, from super toxic masculinity to semi-toxic masculinity, from closeted artists to closeted and now openly gay artists. Step by step, man. We gotta, you gotta crawl to walk. Soon enough, maybe we'll get some mainstream, openly gay boom bap rappers. Maybe we can get Saucy Santana and J. Cole grippy remix. Nah, wouldn't that be great? But in any case, that's enough of what I think. What do you think?